The Indian men's national football team for the Asian Games has had a series of controversies in terms of its selection. On Wednesday, the final list was released with a series of changes from the one that was released some weeks ago. So, what exactly happened in these few weeks, and what is the controversy in terms of selection for the players in the Asian Games? So let's start what the criteria is in terms of selecting players for football teams in the Asian Games. Football teams in Asian Games are expected to have a team which is an under 23 side, with the exception of 3 players who are over the threshold. So for in the Indian context, Sunil Chhetri, Gurpreet Sandhu and Sandesh Jhingan were the 3 players who were selected as the overage players by Steam as the final side was selected. However, when the Indian Super League dates were released, it was found that the league clashed with the schedule of the Asian Games, which meant that ISL sides which have these players along with the under 23 players in the Asian Games will not be able to play in the league. And how does that affect the teams? Some of the ISL teams, 3 specifically, Mohun Bagan, Odisha FC and Mumbai City FC, will be playing in the continental tournaments as well as the ISL in the upcoming months. Mumbai City will be playing several Asian giants including Neymar's Al Hilal, while Mohun Bagan and Odisha FC will be playing in the AFC Cup. Not having important players in their teams will dent their continental hopes. Coming back to the Indian national team. When the schedule for ISL was released, the clubs refused to release their players for the national duty. Can the clubs do so? Yes and no. Yes, because the clubs are obligated to release players in the FIFA window. So FIFA determines a calendar well in advance which specifically mentions the windows in which clubs are obligated to release their players. However, the Asian Games does not fall into that window. This is exactly the reason why ISL clubs were okay to release the players for the Kings Cup, the Intercontinental Cup, or the Tri-Nation Series, all of which fall under the FIFA international window. However, since the Asian Games falls outside the FIFA window, the clubs are not mandated, which means it is not compulsory for the clubs to release their players. This is exactly the loophole which was exploited by ISL clubs, which said that we will not be releasing our players. What was the result? After several weeks of discussion, a new revised side was announced on Wednesday, where Sunil Chhetri was the only player from that list, from the 3 players to make it to the final list, and a fresh squad was announced where Deepak Tangri will be one of the more experienced players to make it to the squad. Tangri himself has not much experience in the senior squad. He's played for the under 23 side, but the team which will go will have Sunil Chhetri as the only veteran and he will captain the side. The national team has won gold in the 1951 and the 1962 Asian Games, but its performance has fallen in the recent years. Its last appearance was in 2014, where it did not feature in any sort of podium positions and it finished in the bottom rung of the participating nations. In the next edition, which was the 2018 Asian Games, it could not make it to the Asiad because of the selection criteria. What is the selection criteria here? The selection criteria for a team to be sent for Asian Games is the team has to be among the top 8 in Asia. India, men as well as women, do not fulfill that criteria even today. In the 2022 edition, which will take place in China now, will also feature them under a special exemption.